Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim and I am a life coach and holistic healer. And today I want to talk to you about why you need a support system when you are healing your trauma. And let's face it, healing from childhood trauma is not something that you can do alone. And often we think that we can, but I'm going to say it one more time. It is not something that you can do alone. If you think you can just read a few self-help books, meditate for 20 minutes a day, and then magically find a way to unravel the years of pain that you've been burying, this is your wake-up call, and that is not how healing works. The journey is hard, it's ugly, and if you're serious about healing, you're going to need a support network, period. No questions asked. And maybe you're the type of person who prides themselves on being self-reliant. That's me. I'm that way. And it's because we have been handling our trauma in silence for years, and we think that we have it under control. But let's be honest, how's it really working for us? The truth is, your trauma isn't going anywhere if you keep trying to handle it all by yourself. It's like trying to perform surgery on your own body. Impossible and painful, and maybe even a little bit dangerous. So here's the thing, trauma isolates you. It makes you believe that you're alone in your pain and that no one will understand, or worse, that no one cares. And I think that we get this way because we often have been made to feel like we were a burden in childhood by our caregivers, people in our community. And so we think that if we reach out to someone or say that we need help with something, then we're going to continue to have that burden feeling. And I can remember many times where I felt like I was a burden. And one memory that really comes to mind often is when I was in third grade. My mom was deployed for Desert Storm, and my third grade teacher, I absolutely idolized her. She was young, she was beautiful, and I didn't realize that I was being needier than usual. And so we were cleaning out our desks, and we had these folders that we needed for a project, and mine was coming undone. So I went up to her desk, and I guess other kids had been doing the same and didn't realize it. And I said, should I staple this together or should I throw it away? And she looked at the teacher who was also in our room and she said, God, some kids just need attention all the time. And I felt like I was this big, and I felt like I wanted to just crawl under my desk and hide and never come back into that room again, because she made me feel like I was, annoying and bothersome, and I would have been better off not bothering her. And so I think we get stuck in this thought process and we repeat these memories from the past where we felt like we were a burden to others. And so what we fail to realize is that we actually need people in our corner, and not just anyone, but people who can pull us out of that isolation and remind us that we're not as broken as we think. Because I know for a long part of my healing journey, and maybe you're feeling this too, you feel like you're broken. You feel like there's something wrong with you, and you get to a point where you feel like nothing will fix it. You'll never be put back together again. You're like Humpty Dumpty. And so what we don't know, and it's because we haven't been taught to believe this, is that a support network isn't just really something nice to have, it's actually a lifeline. And these are the people that you need who will call you out when you're spiraling out of control. They're the people who are going to listen to you without judgment when you finally break down and share the darkest parts of your past. And they're the ones who see you, not just the wounded parts of you, but the whole person that you're trying to become, or the whole person that you already are. Because honestly, when we are affected by trauma, we're really not broken. There's really nothing wrong with us. We're just out of alignment. And so if we cling to this idea that we don't need anyone, here's the reality check, is that healing is honestly about connection. It's about rewiring your brain to trust again. It's rewiring your brain to feel safe with others. And honestly, we can't do that in a vacuum. We need to surround ourselves with people who get it, whether it's friends, family, or a group of fellow trauma survivors. And I know that you're probably thinking, yeah, but my family is part of the problem. I get that because I felt that too. I still feel that sometimes. And that's fair enough. That's why I said people who get it. If your family isn't supportive, find others who are. Join a support group, work with a life coach. Build your own tribe of people who actually care about your healing. That's why I host a group on Meetup. It's for people who are healing their trauma and they want support in that process. And we do all types of events. And so if you don't have that person immediately in mind, take time to think on it. You don't have to run out there and find that person right this second. it might be something that you really have to think on so that you know that you're picking the right person and you're not just settling for anyone. But if you don't find that support system, you are really setting yourself up for failure. And honestly, you've been through enough. So don't make your healing journey any harder than it has to be by trying to do it alone. A support network won't make the pain disappear, but it will make the journey less lonely, less overwhelming. And in the end, it could be the difference between surviving and thriving. I know that I was in survival mode for much of my healing journey because I didn't tap into a support network. I was so embarrassed to admit that I was struggling. I didn't want anyone to know. My husband knew, but honestly, he really wasn't supportive all the time because he didn't know how to be supportive because his life experience is vastly different from mine. He didn't need to have coaching and therapy and all the things because he didn't really have a traumatic childhood or adolescence or even really a traumatic adulthood. And so while he wanted to be supportive and he really tried his hardest, he just couldn't always do and be the things that I needed him to be. So if I had actually opened up with people who I could trust and who I felt like they could be supportive, I would have been in thriving mode so much faster. So if you are truly serious about healing, drop the solo act. You don't have to be the lone wolf. Reach out, build connections. Your future self is going to thank you. So you can heal, but not alone. So think about that. And if you found this video helpful, please feel free to save it, share it, like it, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.